we? And even underage wizards are allowed to use magic if it's a real emergency. Section 19 or something of the restriction thingy.
Next up in our Harry Potter review series is the GameCube version of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. As you may recall from my last review, Chamber of Secrets released alongside the movie on November 5th, 2002, while the GameCube version of Philosopher's Stone was a late release in December 2003. That's not the only difference between these two games. While Stone was developed by the inexperienced Warthog Studios, Chamber was made by the dearly departed Eurocom, who for almost 25 years built a sterling reputation for making high-quality licensed games and other spin-offs. The difference in development quality is immediately noticeable. While Chamber of Secrets is not exactly Eurocom's best game, it does a much better job of capturing the magic of J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World than its 2003 prequel.
Right on target!
Much like the Philosopher's Stone game, Chamber of Secrets follows the bare-bones story structure from the book. Harry and Ron miss the train to Hogwarts, then learn that students are being attacked by a monster that lives in the Chamber of Secrets, built by the school's co-founder Salazar Slytherin, so his heir may purge Hogwarts of those without pure-blooded magical ancestry. Harry accidentally talks to a snake in front of his class, which makes him the prime suspect for the attacks. It's revealed that the Chamber's monster is a basilisk, an ancient snake that could kill with its deadly gaze, and then Ron's sister Ginny is kidnapped and taken to the Chamber. The heir of Slytherin turns out to be the memory of a young Lord Voldemort housed in a diary, and Harry kills the basilisk and destroys the diary. The end. Many of the changes made to the story are clearly pragmatic in nature, meant to speed up the game's development time. Several minor characters are cut so the developers wouldn't have to make unique character models for such brief appearances. For example, Lucius Malfoy is responsible for both arresting Hagrid and firing Dumbledore, which removes Cornelius Fudge, while Ernie Macmillan, Colin Creevey, and Justin Finch-Fletchley are cut, leaving Nearly Headless Nick, Ginny, and Hermione as the only ones attacked by the basilisk. Dobby the House Elf is also cut, despite being much more crucial to the story. With no Dobby, there's no Rogue Bludger at the Quidditch match, and instead of Dobby sealing the entrance to Platform 9 3/4, there's an admittedly hilarious scene where Lockhart talks to Harry at Flourish and Blotts for so long that Harry and Ron end up missing their train. Additionally, since the developers never programmed pathfinding for NPCs to follow the player, Ron and Hermione always run ahead of Harry to meet up with him in class. This programming decision also results in a crucial story change. No tag-along NPCs means that Ron and Professor Lockhart do not accompany Harry to the Chamber of Secrets, which means Ron doesn't break his wand in the Forbidden Forest at the beginning. That being said, some of the changes are genuinely clever, and a good way to get the player more personally involved in the story. For instance, rather than learning about the legend of the Chamber of Secrets in a classroom like in the book, Harry sneaks into the restricted section of the library, retrieving an uncensored textbook on Hogwarts history that includes a passage about the creation of the Chamber. Even if the actual level is pretty dreadful, I appreciate the efforts Eurocom took to change some of the exposition from the book and turn them into video game-style objectives.
Harry! I managed to get Hogwarts in history, but it wasn't easy.
Chamber of Secrets graphics are nothing to write home about. The designs are cartoonish but comprehensible, and there are no problems distinguishing interactive objects from backgrounds. The game has a much better frame rate than Philosopher's Stone, though there are still occasional hiccups. In addition, the open world from Stone is split into small sections when traveling on foot, and while the entirety of Hogwarts can be explored by broom, it is not possible to dismount except just outside the main entrance. Jeremy Soule, who composed the music for the first 4 Harry Potter games, does a great imitation of John Williams' work while being legally distinct from it. This version of Chamber makes versatile use of what could be called the Potter game equivalent to Hedwig's theme, which, among other locations, plays in the Gryffindor Common Room.
Morning, Ron. Do you know what class we've got first?
While exploring Hogwarts in daytime, and when traveling to classes.
Unfortunately, I don't have any lessons with Gilderoy Lockhart this term.
While the music is great, some of the dynamic transitions between songs can be a bit clunky.
Bye, Nick.
While it's far from perfect, Chamber does a much better job imitating Zelda than Philosopher's Stone. Classes are treated as dungeons, complete with the requisite solve puzzle, collect item, fight boss that tests proficiency and skill with item design. There are also dungeons outside of classes, such as the Forbidden Forest and the Restricted section. Collectible wizard cards act as heart pieces, and every 10 cards will increase Harry's health bar. Like most Potter games, Bertie Bott's every flavor beans are used as a currency, and Harry can buy special wizard cards or upgrades to other items from a shop run by the Weasley twins. Thankfully, beans are much easier to come by in Chamber than Stone, thanks to an extra minigame when exploring Hogwarts, where flying through colored rings rewards Harry with extra beans. The magic system is fairly straightforward. Players assign each spell to a face button, which can be pressed or held for extra power. Some spells, like Alohomora, Diffindo, and Incendio, work as they do in the books. Others are modified, such as Lumos, which not only creates a light, but illuminates secret doors and passages. Expelliarmus, meanwhile, has been completely changed, and is now a deflector spell reminiscent of Protego from the later books. Chamber also has some spells exclusive to the games, such as the standard knockback jinx Flipendo, the ectoplasm-removing Scourge, and the transfiguration spell Avaforce. Harry controls much more fluidly in Chamber than in Stone. His spellcasting animations are quick and unobtrusive, and he can actually power up spells while running, which is very useful. Flying also feels a tad more precise, though the minigame for catching the golden snitch in Quidditch matches takes a little getting used to. My main issues with Chamber are with the camera and some aspects of level design. While not as bad as Stone, the camera still has a tendency to face the door when entering a new room, and lock-on targeting is similarly problematic. There are also several sections with fixed camera angles, or limited camera movement, which makes the brief stealth sections much more frustrating than they ought to be. 2 levels in particular were quite irksome. First, the Avaforce spell challenge, which includes invincible ghosts that damage Harry on contact. This wouldn't be an issue, except the level also has several narrow walkways with guardrails, and other areas where Harry must sidle along a wall. During these sections, if a ghost decides to attack Harry, there is no way to dodge or block their attacks. I died several times because a ghost just decided to come after Harry while I was stuck on a walkway with no room to move. The other, far more egregious level is a single jumping puzzle in the otherwise inoffensive Restricted section level. After defeating an evil bookcase, the player pushes a box over to another bookshelf and must jump from bookshelf to bookshelf so Harry can obtain the Scourge spell. This jumping puzzle should realistically take about 30 to 45 seconds. It took me 15 minutes to make just 5 jumps, thanks to terrible enemy and obstacle placement, Harry's unreliable auto-jump, and a fixed camera that's at a partially tilted isometric angle, which is the worst possible view for this kind of gameplay. I am usually relatively calm when playing games, even bad ones, but this level was a pointed exception. Not since the Gotham Gasworks in Batman Vengeance has a level made me so furious. Despite all the grievances I just mentioned, I still think that Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is significantly better than Philosopher's Stone, both as a game and as an interactive representation of the Harry Potter brand. It may not be magical, but it's a good time, and I'd recommend it, warts and all. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets gets 3 flying garden gnomes out of 5. So, have you played Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and what did you think of it? Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Special thanks as always to my patrons, Mike Ibbotson and Tim van den Langenberg. Join me next time, where I'll be doing something I've never done before. A review for the personal computer. Ooh, I wonder what sort of secrets this has in store for us. See you later, folks.
wanna make friends with the badger. The woodchuck likes me with smoky CP. I wanna make friends with the badger. I mean it. I wanna make friends with the badger. For real. I wanna make friends with the. Wanna make friends with the. Wanna make friends.